And welcome back. Let's play a little bit more with some code and some testing of things. Oftentimes in working with numbers and pieces of code, you want to test for validity of something. Is the input that you're getting inside the range of values you're looking for? Rocket motors test for speed, fuel flow, all kinds of stuff. We deal in these simple little examples with things that we understand, which is like, for example, grades. We know that we have things that in a standard scoring system go from 0 to 100, a minimum grade and a maximum grade. And we know that we actually get a grade. So let's enter our number. And if you look at our number line here, we're looking for something to be somewhere from here all the way to here. We want it to be in range. If it's in range, we'll go forth and do a grade or adjust something or whatever we're going to do with it. Maybe count them, how many grades we got that are inside their good range. Average them, who knows. So if we look at it, this is the test we end up with. Is our number greater than or equal to the minimum grade, bigger than 0? And is that number less than or equal to the maximum grade, less than or equal to 100? So if it is, this is a valid grade for us. Otherwise, it's an invalid grade. Photo code. So we would come down here and say, congratulations, grade in range. Doesn't say anything about your grade. We run. And then come down here. Grade bad, just to be silly. So there we have a test for our stuff. So we test it. And our grade at 0 is an in-range grade. Our grade at 100 is in range. Now note, when we have grade endpoints like this, 0 and 100, if you have equals on both sides, because these are inclusive ranges, the testing points really are the endpoints themselves where things tend to fail. They always tend to fail at the extreme. And then just outside those endpoints, so in this case a -1 and a 101. So if we come down here and we run it again, and we put our grade in as a -1, we get a grade bad. We run it again, and we put our grade in at 101, grade bad. And that tells us that by the basis of this little line chart, we know that we've covered everybody over here and we've covered everybody over here. Now in our last lecture, we talked about OR. So if you had put in an OR symbol here, is our number greater than the minimum number or less than the maximum number? It's a common beginner flaw. You'll see these top lines up here define the ranges of that. So is the number greater than or equal to a minimum grade? Greater than or equal to the minimum grade covers everything from 0 past 100 going this way. If we have an OR, that covers every number that is less than or equal to the maximum grade going this way, which covers every number here. And if you were to merge these two lines together, you'd see it covers the whole number line. There's nothing that this thing isn't true. So therefore, we would never have a bad grade. Watch. If I put a -1, which according to our logic was supposed to be a bad grade, my grade's in range. If I put in 101, my grade's in range. It does not matter what number you pick. If you get the wrong logical operator here in the middle, if it's OR instead of AND, you're going to get the wrong result out of this. So it'll even try to tell you, hey, this expression is always true, danger, danger. But that's just the nature of a nice little IDE helping us out. So this is one way of finding out whether a grade is in a range. Now, in this case, what we wanted was to say you had a good grade or a bad grade. But what happens if we're not looking for something that's in range? What if we want something that is out of range? We want numbers that are less than 0 and greater than 100. So if I say, is it less than 0, greater than 100, one, you can see it highlights, but without giving away the hint, what do you think is going to happen here? That's right. Can a number be both less than 0 and greater than 100? No, can't happen. Not metaphysically maybe, but not in our number system. So that means the and in the way we worded that was backwards. It's wrong. In this case, we want it to be or. We want it to be is it possible that that number is less than the minimum grade, or is it bigger than the maximum grade? In that case, then, we'll tell you in the true side, you're out of bounds. This is where you're no longer in the boundary conditions you've set. And down here, instead of this being valid, this is now invalid. And we come down here, this makes this valid. And there we go. So the minimum grade, if we do it this way, this gives us the outer edges of this thing. And if we run it, if we put in a -1, we see we're out of bounds. If we run it again for funds, and we pick, I don't know, 60, we have a valid grade. So you can do the same exact thing with and or as long as you pick the right endpoints and the right tests. In range required you to go from 0 all the way up to and including 100. Got to use the right words or you'll get the wrong test. Out of bounds is not including 0, so it's truly less than 0 and truly greater than 100. And that's kind of the way we end up testing these things. Now, as a side note, if we went back to the old test that we had, where we had and we had greater than or equal to, and we had less than or equal to, this test will still test to see if it is inside inclusive in the range. But now, what if I want the same exact test without me doing what I just did? Want this same exact test, but I don't want to have to change things. I just want to do a quick little modification to it. Well, my if statement has the ability to take whatever's inside its outer set of parentheses and negate it. Remember that logical not. So this says, is the number greater than the minimum grade? True. Is the number less than the maximum grade? True. We have a number that is in our range. So it's both greater than and less than. And then we take the not. So this thing is true and true, which means it's true. Not true means it's false. So that would mean that we're down here, and this is the out of bounds area. However, if we are less than the minimum grade, false, and the number is less than or equal to maximum grade, which would be true, this would be false and true. With the and, it turns it false. Not false turns it true. So this all of a sudden becomes in bounds. So we can flip this thing on its head and determine which way we want it to run. So if we run this thing again, just for funsies, well, see, that's what we're looking for. We're looking for things that are out of bounds. They're not inside these ranges. Everybody see that? So you can see that ands and ors with nots can be flipped on top of their heads and make them run very, very nicely. And with that, we will progress to some more tests and some more examples of how to do logical testing. Hope you're having a great day.